Do you really know what happens when you sign up for a website? You would think it's just about creating an account to watch funny cat videos, right? Well, but behind the scenes, all your personal information, username, password, mom's maiden name, your first pet's name, your pet's first name, everything is stored in this company's database. Now, can you remember all the websites you signed up for? Yeah, me neither. And guess what? Even that sketchy website you used one time for your free cat gifts, it still has your details. And you've probably heard this phrase in the news 100 times. Hackers broke into this company's database, leaked millions of users' personal data, and held the company for ransom. But what happens next when one of these gazillion websites that you've signed up for actually gets hacked? Well, I hated to break it to you, man, but this data is now in the hands of the bad guys. So, in this video, we'll be going over first what hackers get access to, then how they actually use this information to get your password, and finally, what you need to do to actually protect yourself. So, when hackers reach a company, they often end up with something that looks a lot like this. And so, what we have here is a leaked database file with usernames and hashed passwords. Now, here's an important detail. That string of random characters that you see next to a username here, that's actually not their password. That's something that we call a hash. So a hash is created by taking your original password, running it through a one-way mathematical function, and producing an output. The important thing though, it's not reversible. You can't exactly take a hash and decode it back into the original password. So, well, if the hashes aren't reversible, how did these hackers figure out your password? Well, not all hashes are created equally. Some are actually super easy to crack, while others have extra layers of protection. Let me show you one of the most common ways hackers do it, and this is known as a dictionary attack. So here's the concept, right? If this hash can't be reversed, what if we just recreate it? So the first step here is to identify the hash type. So let's take this hash right here. Okay, we'll copy it, and then we will run a hash identifier command, and we'll paste the hash right here. So according to this command here, the hash that is identified as an MD5 hash. The next step here is to take a random string. So let's just say we have a random string called password, and we try to get the MD5 sum for this string. So now, if we take password, and the MD5 value of this would be the value right here. So what if we change to password 1, then password 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and we keep doing that until we try to compare it to this value over here. Well, obviously, as you can see, that looks like it's a very lengthy process. If I were to go one at a time and try every single password, it will take me a very, very, very long time. Since this is a manual and time-consuming process, we could actually use a tool that could do this all for us. Enter Hashcat. So Hashcat, it takes a massive list of potential passwords called a word list, and it hashes each one of these using the same algorithm, so MD5 in this case. And basically, then it compares the results to the target hash. Once it finds a match, the hacker knows the original password, and this is called a dictionary attack. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the hash that is for our account. So let's go up and find that. So we got the hash right here. We're going to copy it, and we're going to create a text file and paste the hash in here. So now you can see that the hash is in the text file. And then we're going to run the hashcat command to crack this password. So the M here specifies the mode. So as we found here that it's using the MD5 algorithm right here, then we have the hash, which is the hash for our username. And then finally we have rocky.txt, which is a word list which contains about 14 million different passwords. And so basically what Hashcat is going to do is basically the same exact process that we tried to do here, except it's going to do it extremely, extremely fast, and we can get our clear text password very quickly. So let's take a moment to run this. So Hashcat is starting, it takes some time to initialize, and as you can see, in the span of not even a second, or not even, any time at all, it has already cracked this password. And so this hash is, the clear text to this hash is rows 1, 2, 3, 4. And over here, as you could see, it went through approximately 31,000 passwords in that time frame that I ran this. And as you can see, there's a total of 14 million different passwords that this could be. After an attacker gets access to any of your passwords in such manner, the next thing they will try is to try to use this password on any and possibly every website that they can. If you've ever used this password for other sites such as a social media site or your email or maybe even your online banking, there's a very high chance that they are going to attempt this. Reusing passwords is actually a bigger disaster than you might think. Moving on, how would you protect yourself? So here's what you could do to stop hackers from cracking your passwords. First, use a long, complicated password. So most dictionary attacks commonly rely on words or short combinations, but if your password is 24 characters long, mixed with numbers, uppercase letters, and special characters, it's way harder to crack. And this is because if an attacker tries to brute force it and test every possible combination, the list of potential passwords becomes astronomically large. And with today's computing power, it would take forever to crack passwords that are 24 characters long. So even the chance that your password does get leaked in a breach, the odds of them actually being able to crack it are reduced by a large amount. Second, I would suggest to use a unique password map for every site. So that way, even if your password gets leaked for one site and it does end up getting cracked, the damage is limited since you're using a different password for different sites. Now you may wonder, if you're using a different password for different sites, how would you remember it all? And the solution to this is to use a password manager. Password managers are secure storage for your passwords. They can actually generate super long passwords and actually store them so you don't have to. That way you log into this password manager with one password that you have to remember and then gain access to all. And finally, an extra protection step you could add is make sure to enable two-factor authentication. So that way, even if they get your password, they crack it, and they're able to log in, 2FA should stop them from accessing any more data.